They've met with the pastor week after week. He's taught them our precepts and Christ Jesus to seek. He shared the law of our God, which we strive to keep, the prayers, the creeds, and the sacraments deep. Now these young saints are right to partake in Christ's body and blood, all for his sake. A gift you are seeking to commemorate this? Ad Crucem has just what you won't want to miss. We've got icons, art, ornaments, jewelry, and more, greeting cards, crucifixes, posters, gifts galore. Your catechized friend will love what you give and treasure the gift all the days that they live. Visit adcrucem.com. That's ADCRUCEM.com.
Listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Erin.
I'm Bree.
And I'm Rachel.
We have a wild card episode today. Our last wild card was April Fool's Day, and that was super duper fun. But no Katie Sherman today.
No.
But we are talking about Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
It's a little less fun, but still fun.
It'll still be fun. Bree, this is your episode. I want to know what you have to say.
It is.
So let's go. Take it away.
We are looking forward to Holy Week and Easter celebrations. And today I wanted to talk about one of the parts of secular Easter. I'm doing air quotes.
Yes.
That's why I said it
that.
different. That we have the Christian freedom to enjoy. And that is fun with Easter baskets and Easter eggs.
Oh, yes.
Reese's peanut butter eggs.
Reese's peanut butter eggs.
Are we going to just talk about candy for 45 minutes?
I would love to do that. I'm okay with redirecting this. I'm okay with that. I will say, as a kid, my siblings and I had Easter baskets every Easter Sunday. We'd open them on Easter morning after, of course, going to sunrise Easter Sunday service. We'd also dye Easter eggs the night before and hunt for them throughout the house when we got home too. And the smell of Pa's color dye tablets and vinegar is a core sensory memory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Always.
You know what? I literally just today over lunch got myself an Easter basket at Target.
Yes.
It is adorable. It's a tiny blue dinosaur.
Oh
No.
my goodness.
Easter dinosaur.
That is pretty
adorable.
I
I
love
mean,
it.
tiny for a dinosaur. It's not a tiny basket. So I will share
Man.
a picture of that
I
later.
would love
What would
that.
my childhood have been like with a dinosaur Easter basket?
It could have changed your entire career trajectory, friend.
It could
You could
have.
be completely different,
I would be a paleontologist.
right? Or like the subject of a Netflix documentary about like a serial killer or something. Like, be careful what
That
you wish for.
escalated very
That could
quickly.
still
Be
happen.
careful what. Well,
Well, you
so
never said that the subject of the Netflix documentary was the serial killer, just that it was about the serial killer. And that Sarah
that's
played
right.
a pivotal role somehow.
That's
she was the producer.
Oh, well, yeah, that's actually very appropriate.
Yeah, that is. Anyway, now that we're older, although you probably wouldn't notice that, my husband and I, well, we worship on Sunday morning, which obviously it goes without saying, this is the best part of the Easter celebration. Celebrating, right. The resurrection of our Lord
Mm-hmm.
is better than any Easter egg tradition. Better than, sorry, no offense, better than Reese's eggs. I do love a Reese's egg.
It is by
Better
far.
than Cadbury cream eggs.
Better than Cadbury cream eggs.
and
all
better than
that.
Peeps, which isn't hard because they're disgusting.
I don't know if I've
Mhm.
ever eaten a peep in my life.
Nobody has.
No offense, Peeps lovers
Nobody
out there.
truly has ever eaten one. They get sold and people buy them, but they don't actually eat them. Little known
They're
fact.
too adorable to eat.
That's right.
That is true.
They are cute. You feel guilty every time.
So we don't spend a whole lot of time with Easter, not church-related Easter festivities. And I'm guessing from just about here on out, our Holy Weeks are going to be followed by lots of low-key hangs and chilling out and decompressing. But I wanted to put it to you three, like, what sorts of interesting, not necessarily sacred Easter traditions did you have as kids growing up?
The pause vinegar colored eggs, definitely a highlight of my childhood. We did that the whole time I was a kid. I loved and hated that smell. But you know me, I love colors and creating artwork. And so that was a very special part of my childhood, to just put colors all over everything. It was super fun. I had the most adorable white and pink Easter basket. Oh my super girly, because I was the youngest child, am the youngest child, and the only girl. So if it was girly, I had it. So it was super girly. It was so tiny. I'm sure my parents still have it. Adorable. We always had them filled with chocolates, and we got very specific Easter bunnies, and I think they were hollow, which was very sad, or at least they ended up being hollow. They may have started solid at some point in my childhood, but I remember my later years, they were hollow bunnies. Which,
inflation. Hashtag inflation.
The hollow ones didn't taste as good either. It was very disappointing. I do remember one year, this is huge confession time, and I can tell this story because now it's funny. One year, I thought I wanted a cookies and cream bunny when like cookies and cream chocolate was a thing. And so my parents got me the cookies and cream bunny that I wanted.
Because you were their youngest daughter.
Yes.
And only.
And only daughter.
Youngest and only daughter.
And so I started eating it, and I realized that it was not actually what I wanted, and I didn't like it. So I found one of my brother's bunnies.
Nice.
I was just slowly eating it.
I love that.
And
I love that for you.
I didn't think anyone would notice, but of course everyone noticed.
You're just like taking sneaky little bites.
So I got in trouble, of course, for that, and I had to, apologize and probably got a time out for it. But that was me as a child.
That's ruthless.
I was totally a youngest child.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I love it.
I also did that with their Halloween candy.
Yeah. And you knew you could get away with it too, didn't you?
Oh, I did not get away with that. They found out eventually, and I was in trouble for that too. But yeah, I would eat my brother's candy because I didn't like mine. But anyway, that's off topic.
We don't talk about Halloween here, okay? Trick-or-treating off limits.
So back to Easter. We always went to sunrise service. We didn't have an Easter I shouldn't say that. We never went to Easter Vigil when I was growing up. I think my church had one, or at least it had one later when I was like a teenager. We never went to it though. I'm not sure why. Probably because we always went to sunrise service, which was at 6 a.m. And I remember from a very young age, absolutely loving that service. I was always exhausted, but I remember just loving that service because part of it was a very visual thing. It was always dark, obviously, and the sun would come up during the service, hence sunrise service. But that visual in itself was really magical for a kid. But then also, I still remember in the front of the sanctuary, they always had these gigantic palm leaves with really big leaves, and there would be lights on the bottom of them so that the shadow of the palm leaves would be going up the front of the church walls.
Wow.
And it was so, I looked forward to that every year. It was just so beautiful of a visual of these big shadows of these palm branches.
The shiny brass instruments.
Yeah. And of course the music was always fantastic because it was Easter breakfast, of course, after the sunrise service. Just lots of community and family and stuff. So that was my childhood. My adulthood, not a whole lot different. We don't do Easter baskets or candy or any of that, partially because we're church musicians. And so Holy Week is fantastic, but also downright exhausting for us.
Whirlwind.
Because we're at church Wednesday for rehearsal and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's a lot of church. It's a lot of great church. And I mean, no regrets, obviously. Going through all of that, it's just very tiring. So we don't do a lot of stuff outside of church for Easter now, but we're heavily involved in the music. So, I mean, we're singing Easter music already 2 or 3 weeks ago in choir rehearsal. So we kind of get a preview of Easter as choir members. But then my husband will be involved in other parts of the music too. And we get to be, a very special part of the services, which is really fun. And the music is always fantastic. And we go to Easter Vigil now, too, which is probably the highlight of Holy Week in general. I love Easter Vigil. It's my favorite service of the entire year. It's the best. Man, when that altar changes from all darkness to bells and we get to sing and the lights come on. It's the best thing ever.
Mhm.
So that's what we do now. Not a lot of fancy, but a whole lot of church.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Aaron?
When I was a kid, so my dad is a pastor, so the Easter traditions that I remember, we had Easter baskets. My mom would hide our Easter baskets. So after church, that's when we were released to go hunt for our Easter baskets. We could not look for them before. And we also each had a special Easter bunny that it was not like a new bunny every year. They were the same bunnies, and mine was sort of a turquoise blue.
Ooh.
And my sister's was more of a natural bunny color, but sort of pale creamy, so a sort of a creamy white color.
Mm-hmm.
They were essentially matching bunnies, but in different colors, and my brother's was just a different bunny altogether. And we would do Easter eggs, decorate those, and hide those. We actually, my family, we still get together for Easter in the afternoon, and we actually still do Easter egg hunt.
Nice.
The whole family. So my aunt every year actually coordinates it now, and it works well. So if anyone out there has a larger group that you're trying to figure out how to do this sort of thing with, we each get assigned a color egg that we are to find, and we know how many eggs are hidden. And so then when we are released to go look for the eggs, you're not just taking every egg you find. And that reels in the over exuberant and allows the more patient hunters to still have fun.
That's very smart.
Smart.
And then there's also a couple of special eggs that are anyone who finds those can get those. Those are sort of first come, first serve.
Are they golden?
They are sort of holographic. Yeah. So these are all the plastic eggs, and then they're filled with some candies or quarters or things like that. So it is fun. So if you're trying to figure out how to manage an Easter egg hunt, still worth it. Also, and I'm actually hoping to work this into my Holy Week schedule this year. My aunts and my grandmother and their family that live in St. Louis still get together to dye eggs every year and decorate eggs. And I'm often I've got Holy Week, as you know, is a busy time, and so have not usually been able to go do that. But I'm hoping I can work that in this year to go and get out the old crayons. And so that's also part of the Easter tradition, is then you look at all of the eggs that were decorated and admire them and what was happening on this one, because they've got different stories, or boy, you attempted that and it went a little wrong.
Is that a pot shop?
Exactly. Things along those lines. So I'm hoping to do that this year, and that'll be fun.
Rachel, what's up?
I don't remember a whole lot of consistent holiday traditions when I was a kid. We did a lot of things, but rarely for multiple years running. Maybe because I don't remember a whole lot of consistency when I was a kid. You guys know this, that my dad was both a missionary and in the military. So that's a double badge of honor right there. So I never knew whether I'd be in the highlands of Papua New Guinea or in Muncie, Indiana, or some, Midwestern small town like that. And as a result, our holidays were a little, let's just say everyone was unique.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, I have tried to, perhaps for that reason, cultivate some real family Easter traditions. Also, I love Easter. Easter is so my favorite holiday, and I include all of Holy Week in that because it's one big unified whole. So our traditions are we dye eggs Saturday morning, Holy Saturday morning, or afternoon if we're feeling lazy and all slept in. But sometime during the day on Saturday, we dye eggs. And we do not use pus because I like things in my kitchen that do double duty. So if you pick up the box of food coloring, you will see that they have recipes on the side for how many drops of red and how many drops of blue if you want to make purple Easter egg dye. And so we usually make our own colors, but you get more variety that way.
Fancy. Vinegar smell though?
Oh yeah, you can still use vinegar. Yeah.
Heck yeah, brother.
Makes the colors brighter if you use the vinegar. And we don't just dip the eggs in the colors. We bring out the wax crayons, because if you draw on them in wax, it won't stick to those spots. The thick rubber bands, save the rubber bands from your broccoli, and you can put those around them. You can make crosses with the rubber bands. They're really pretty. Get out the straws, and you can put a drop of dye and blow it around for a cool tie-dye effect. You can, there's all sorts of, so it's not an ordeal. It is an adventure. I have to be careful not to boil too many eggs at once, because how many boiled eggs can you really eat before they go bad? I don't know.
True. All of them in my house.
So each child usually gets a certain number, let's say half a dozen eggs, that they get to dye. I do like boiled eggs, just there's a limit. And so we dye eggs together, and that's a wonderful, wonderful tradition. Easter morning, I usually, even if I can't find anyone to go with me, I go to sunrise service, because I love sunrise service. I will often make hot cross buns that are just ready for anybody, who needs a little snack on the way out the door. So there's some hot cross buns waiting. My kids don't actually like them that much, and I think it's the currants, but you gotta have the currants.
You know what? It's still they're still going to remember those. We didn't like them, but every year it's not going to be Easter without their hot cross buns.
That's my favorite song too.
And then, we go to usually multiple services on Easter, and then come home and we have our Easter feast. Always got to have the Easter feast. And we serve lamb on Easter. And new potatoes and asparagus, and usually a nice glass of red wine alongside it. But it is just a wonderful thing. As a ministry wife who for many years saw her husband just, do that Holy Week marathon that you described as church musicians, Sarah, and to come home on Easter Sunday and just be like, okay, we got the lamb. We'll just stick it on the grill for a couple hours real low. All the rest of the stuff is ready to go. Just kick back and bask in the glow of knowing that your Lord is risen from the dead and you too will rise. That's what Easter is about. Just sort of basking in the glory of that.
For sure.
So,
yes.
Yeah, we've got our traditions. We do have Easter egg hunts. It does not happen until after church on Sunday. Sometimes not until after dinner on Sunday. The eggs we dye are only for table centerpiece. We don't actually hide the hard-boiled eggs. That is a problem. If you don't find them all, they tend to make a lovely stink.
It will find you in a year.
So we fill, on Saturday night, we fill dozens, maybe not hundreds, but dozens of plastic eggs, usually 3 jelly beans in each one. We're going for quantity here.
Yes.
And then when it's time, when my kids were little, it was, dad or my grandpa or uncles or somebody would go out and hide the eggs. Now the big kids take great delight in hiding for the little ones. Just like, you graduate from collecting candy on that holiday we don't talk about here, and graduate to passing it out from the front porch, and it's this rite of passage. So hiding the eggs. We do not tend to do Easter baskets, except, I keep some Easter baskets for the Easter egg hunt. But by the time you've counted up everything, all the calories on Easter, especially the calories from sugar, I find that top loading the day with an individualized cache of candy for each child is not a policy that I personally go for.
I don't want that for you. Let's be honest.
No, it's fine. There's enough treats, enough sugar on Easter without handing each child a basket of chocolate and saying this is. And it would be different if I had some of those children who believed in delayed gratification and made it last for 3 weeks. I hear there are children like that who exist.
I don't know any.
But when every time you turn your back there at the Easter basket until by 2:00 in the afternoon, they've eaten a month's worth of chocolate. That is
Happy Easter.
Not ideal. Also, we have some food allergies in the extended family that make it smart to stick with things like jelly beans and other foods that are manufactured on peanut-free facilities.
Yeah.
So, but it's even without the smorgasbord of Easter candy, our Easter is so wonderful. Like, I love it so much.
That's good. Yeah. So Easter is, I think we can all say, is celebrated on a global scale in varieties, both sacred and secular. But in doing research, what has become intriguing to me is how different parts of the world celebrate Easter and how the Easter egg is a common item, icon, visual that sort of threads throughout all of those cultural celebrations. So I'm going to talk about Easter egg traditions from around the world. You might find yourself wanting to start practicing these traditions in your home or maybe even at your church with some critical modifications, I will say, especially as we delve into some of these less sacred activities. So, as I talk about these different celebrations, I also want you to know that I will be assigning a very non-scientific rating to these activities on a scale from 0 to 10 based upon what I feel like is the best kind of international Easter egg tradition / celebration.
Okay.
Okay. So
I love that the scale starts at 0, not 1.
Yep. That's correct. And you'll soon see why. So, our first stop on the international tour of Easter egg traditions is Scotland.
All right.
Scotland practices egg rolling as an Easter tradition. Now, these are not to be confused with egg rolls, which are deep-fried tubes of Asian cuisine excellence.
Delicious.
Those are delicious, and I wouldn't mind opening up a plastic egg to find an egg roll in it.
Ooh.
But this is a whole different matter entirely.
Now I want egg rolls. Thanks, Brie.
Say what?
It's not a Scotch egg either.
It's not a Scotch egg either,
Okay.
which is also, you're absolutely right. I'm so hungry right now. So instead of being hidden, which is an activity that we've all sort of described and are familiar with, eggs that are dyed are actually rolled down a hill.
Oh.
And the contestant whose egg rolls farthest down the hill without breaking is the winner.
Ooh. So these are
they
raw
hard?
eggs.
Yeah, are they raw
They
or
are hard-boiled eggs,
Okay,
but I'm guessing they'll
Yeah.
sense what cracks
Yeah,
or
I feel like
whatever.
it
For
rocks.
each of these, please indicate whether the egg involved is hard boiled or raw.
Okay.
I feel like this is
You know what?
significant.
I'm just going to throw this out
Okay.
there. This is assuming that all of the eggs used are hard boiled.
Okay.
There are no raw eggs in this
Okay.
scenario.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes.
Carry
Less
on.
exciting, but go ahead.
So what I found is that the egg rolling activity is specifically described as having Christian significance because it reminds us of the stone rolling away from Christ's tomb when he resurrected.
Wow.
Okay.
This is a very accessible activity with Christian significance.
If you have a hill.
If you have a hill, let's just assume that you do.
I have a
So
hill. I could do
I
this.
am giving this a score of 10 out of 10. Egg rolling in Scotland.
All right.
Starting out right
Out
at
the
the
gate.
top.
At the
Okay.
gate.
Goodness. 10
It's
out
all
of 10.
downhill from here, friends.
You're absolutely right. So we're gonna travel east, I think,
Yes.
on our European tour. We're
Okay.
making a stop in Germany.
Mm.
We're all very familiar with as Lutherans, obviously. And they have an Easter egg tradition called the egg dance.
Okay.
So
Is it a polka?
after the Easter egg hunt occurs, which is something that we're all familiar with, these eggs are placed on the ground and people dance around them, sometimes while blindfolded,
Oh, dear.
trying to damage as few eggs as possible.
Oh.
There's no Christian significance to this activity, and it generally seems reckless and wasteful. So I would not recommend this. Egg dance in Germany, 0 out of 10.
Oh.
Can I just? I'm gonna be contrarian here for a minute.
That's fine. Do
It's
it.
not your usual role.
It is not.
Aaron's like, why are you doing my job?
But let me hear
I'm
it.
going to say, as I mentioned, it is always our way to want to dye more eggs than we can responsibly consume in the amount of time that it takes for the eggs to get old. And so if you are a family that is this way, where you end up with 4, 5, 6 dozen colorful eggs in your fridge, just because you got carried away. They're so beautiful. It's so much fun. Happy Easter. Wah, wah, wah.
Too many eggs, bro.
If you end up with many, many, many eggs, you could leave them in your fridge and hope that you will use them. And after about 8 weeks, with grief, admit that you have just bitten off more than you could chew. Or you could say, I'm going to put in the fridge the eggs that I will actually consume with joy and gladness. And the rest of the eggs we are going to dance around and have a good time with and just celebrate the abundance.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that for certain people, the egg dance could be.
There might be a decent application of that.
Yeah, replacing guilt with grace.
Yeah, sure.
Which
for sure.
I'm all about. Also, it sounds fun. And if you were to do this with raw eggs, I feel like it would make a great reality show.
That would be a good time. That would be a good time. You're right.
It'd be a mess.
Especially if you did some of them raw and some of them boiled, and they were all colorful.
That's mischief right
German
there.
roulette.
German egg roulette. We're doing it. So our international tour continues even farther east, where we find ourselves in Greece.
Oh.
Is it east?
Okay.
South?
Or at least south.
Yeah.
Definitely
Eastish.
south.
East to south. I don't know how maps work or directions. Europe is like this big, like ambiguous.
Just a blob.
Yeah, it's just a blob in my head.
It's giant, but it's actually tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
It's weird. Americans, man, we're so weird. So, another just topic for another time. Obviously, the sacred observance of Easter is of extreme importance, especially as we think about our brothers and sisters in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Mm-hmm.
The one Easter egg tradition I found, however, has no Christian significance, but it is called egg tapping. This activity is called Tsugrisma. I think I said that right. I don't know really for sure. But Tsugrisma happens at the Easter dinner table, where guests take turns tapping their Easter eggs together, and the last person whose egg's shell is fully intact wins the game. I tell you that there's no Christian significance to this because the prize in Greek tradition is a year of good luck.
Just listening to you guys.
Yeah.
I love it.
What? Imagine if this game were played again with random raw and hard-boiled eggs.
Okay. I like the mischief factor on that one too. I do. I think that this activity has the potential for egg dance caliber recklessness. And while there is no Christian significance tied to this activity, there is at least some utility to this game, because who wants to eat a hard-boiled egg at Easter dinner with the shell still on it?
That's true.
Nobody.
Yeah, no thank you.
2 out of 10 for egg tapping in Greece.
All right.
Now we're going to go north, I think.
Far north.
You can confirm this for me. We're going to Sweden. That's north, right?
Yeah.
North.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
North.
Okay. So, Sweden. Oh, Sweden. They participate in an activity known as egg roof tile rolling. Egg. I said that wrong. I put the wrong emphasis there. Egg roof tile rolling.
Okay.
So
it's not a roof made of eggs.
Eggs plus roof tiles
Okay.
equals egg roof tile rolling.
Okay.
On Easter Sunday, children dress up as good witches.
Oh.
0 out of 10.
and exchange cards for eggs and candy.
Okay.
The
Yikes.
eggs are then used in a game where they are rolled down a roof tile, much like egg rolling. They're rolled down a roof tile, held at an angle to see how far they roll. The objective is to have it roll the farthest.
So,
I bet
like,
it was the Vikings that brought
Pinewood
that
Derby for eggs?
Yes, absolutely.
Ah, okay.
Participants can also collect multiple eggs if they hit others' eggs during their trial.
Huh.
So, like, Pinewood Derby meets roller derby with eggs.
Meets bocce ball.
all dressed up as witches.
All dressed up as witches. There are also this weird, like, Easter branches / Easter tree, decorating willow branches with feathers, and not like it all honestly sounds like 16th century pagan nonsense. But
I'm still Googling Swedish architecture to try and get a feel for what these roof tiles actually look like.
the game itself is a solid and fun lesson in physics, and I don't want to discount that. So I'm giving this activity 3 out of 10.
Educational.
But there's witches.
Gosh, they aren't
But
dressing up for
physics.
church. No, I'm going to dress it like it's Easter Sunday.
It's Easter Saturday. They dress like the good witches.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, but
that's-
still.
Physics are important. Okay, fine. What would you be
It's just gravity. That's not physics.
Yeah, but there's
You don't need a fancy lesson for that.
angles and stuff. Angles. What would you be comfortable with the score? What score should I give
I already
this?
gave my score 0 out of 10. But
Okay, Sarah? 0 out of 10?
I don't want to get in the middle of that.
We'll split the difference. 1 out of 10 from Sarah. Again, this is completely non-scientific, so you guys have every right to lambaste me for my decisions. I don't care.
Whacking the mic.
Okay, we're done in Europe.
Oh,
Okay, we're gonna go
move it out of the.
We're moving out of
West.
Europe. We're going to South America, guys.
Sweet.
So we're gonna go to Argentina.
Oh,
Okay.
This is arguably my favorite tradition in this entire episode.
Ooh. All right.
The Argentinian people exchange eggs on Easter Sunday and usually celebrate with a big family feast of grilled meats.
I'm so there.
All right.
Sounds like
So
an
far,
Easter
yeah.
Sunday at the Baumburger house, honestly.
It really does.
So after the meal, children will hunt for a giant hollow chocolate egg called huevo de Pascua, which is basically another name for Easter egg in the Spanish language.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. I can
Yep.
see it now in my mind.
Yup.
Okay.
It's Easter. It's eaten. The egg is eaten for dessert with other confections, maybe lamb-shaped cakes. Who really knows? And if you've ever seen videos of these giant chocolate Easter eggs being made, you'll notice that some of them are like as big as my face, if not bigger. It's a little bit offensive. Like if we're talking about caloric intake, there's maybe a year's worth of calories in some of these, probably.
That's amazing.
I love it. So obviously there's not a whole lot of Christian symbolism here, but I am really digging the menu of grilled meats and chocolate. And at least their term for Easter egg points to the Paschal lamb. I'm giving this activity 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll go with you on this. I mean, I'm not big on filling children up with chocolate on Easter. I just said that.
Right.
However, this would be shared chocolate. This
Yep.
would be like chocolate for the whole family, including the mom of the family. And I could get behind that. Also, I mean, the Christian symbolism, you don't need to go any more complicated than just egg, because this goes way back. I mean, you probably saw some of this. There's some people will say, oh, there's pagan roots of this. But the symbol of the egg, something that looks like a rock, out of which comes new life. Life out of rock. That is a symbol. That is a very early symbol of the resurrection. And so anytime you have an egg involved, there's some Christian symbolism there, whether people admit it or not.
I like it.
I'm defending the big chocolate egg in Argentina and maybe arguing for getting it a little closer to the egg rolling down the hill in terms of score wise.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I could see this a solid 7 or 8 myself.
For sure.
Mm.
So we're going to travel north to Central America. Is Mexico part of Central America?
No.
America.
Is it
No,
North
it's
America?
North America.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm an idiot, is what I'm learning today. You're
You
right,
know,
because
had I not spent the last several years homeschooling, I might not have known that.
can you cut that? I mean, you don't have to, but I'm an idiot.
I sound
also.
smart though. So.
Yeah, let's leave it in for Erin's sake. That's fine. I'll give her the assist.
We will have a Lutheran Ladies Lounge Learns Geography episode coming up.
Lutheran Ladies Lounge Geography Bee.
I won the Geography Bee in 7th grade.
I did too.
Bet you did.
Oh,
I
here we
loved
go. Obviously, I didn't retain any of that information.
Ooh, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego Lutheran Ladies Lounge Edition? Let's do it.
Yes.
My favorite show.
Nice. Let's do it. So in Mexico, and this may be a tradition that some of you are familiar with, some of you listeners out there. It's called egg showers,
Whoa.
which
Not with raw eggs.
no.
Because that would be a totally different thing.
Cascarones.
It's cascarones.
I know about cascarones.
My
So this-
church does.
This is actually less painful than it sounds. So cascarones are hollowed out
Oh,
eggs
thank goodness.
that are, that are filled with colorful confetti.
Yes.
And this was actually based on a Chinese tradition,
Oh.
completely unrelated to Easter, as you might
Fascinating.
guess. Was brought to Mexico by Spanish conquistadors. And there's also like a Renaissance era practice that was happening in Italy when men would court females,
Oh, no.
where they would throw eggs filled with perfumed powder at the women they wished to court.
That is such a... Okay.
Which is big ick to me. Like, I don't think that that's cool.
Why
at
would you
all.
throw something at a woman you liked?
Why-
I mean, I
the
seem
things we
to
do for
recall
love?
someone throwing like spitballs at the back of my head once, trying to get
No.
my attention. I mean, there are weirder things that
Tell Ken to
young
knock
men
that
have
off,
thrown at
Rachel.
women they wanted to
He's
I don't
too
know,
old for
catch
that
their eye for.
nonsense.
It's very,
Too old for that
it's a very guy
nonsense.
thing. Here, I'm going to
Yeah.
throw something.
That's true. But
Hey, hey, you, hey, have an egg.
And now you smell pretty.
so the cascarones, and I would love for you to speak to your experience with this at your church, but here's what I understand it to be is it's sort of like an open field situation where kids sort of run and hide and they can like throw the eggs at each other or like break them over their heads and the pretty confetti goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Is that it basically?
I mean, we just have our little church lawn and it looks like, and it's super appropriate because it's Easter Sunday and afterwards it looks like a giant party just happened on our church lawn
I love
because it's
it.
covered with confetti everywhere. But it's adorable. The kids all running around. They're trying to crack the cascarones over each other's heads. They're aiming for they go for adults too. And they are so excited when, one of them gets another person and they're like, oh, you got me.
do kids like punch each other in the face? Like, is it potential for like brain trauma?
No, we have not experienced any brain trauma. I will say that. No.
Okay.
No. And honestly, it's not really, in our experience, it's not really a throwing because they don't have a lot of heft to them.
Right.
They're filled with,
Yeah.
it's an eggshell filled with confetti.
Right.
So you can't get much good momentum
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
But if I walked up
So
behind
really,
you and like
yeah,
slammed it on
exact-
your head, would it?
I'm sure that like the middle school boys are going to get that because that's
Ouch.
who they are. But they're
But
going
if
to
they
love
didn't
it.
have a cascarone, they'd find something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
It's not any worse than dodgeball, let's be honest.
yeah.
Sounds like a water balloon fight, actually.
So,
It does kind of sound like that.
yeah. It's pretty great. And it's honestly, you end up with just bits of paper and eggshells, so you don't even have to really clean it up. You
Right.
just let that be in
Let the rain take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call an audible on this because I originally gave this activity a 4 out of 10, and this is why. So I love an accidental multicultural moment, which is, I feel like this is what this is. And I bet the confetti colorfulness is really pretty. But like, okay, the non-consensual aspects of this activity are like big ick. And if you're not using biodegradable confetti, that causes a problem too. However, I am moved by your account of cascarones. So I'm going to take the 3 points that I gave to Sweden
Yes.
for their physics, witchcraft, and physics. And I'm going to give it to Mexico 7 out of 10.
Oh, that's so good of you.
I know. I'm feeling quite benevolent right now.
Hey, we should do cascarones at the IC on Easter Monday.
I'm
with a
just
bunch of
wondering how
people.
you make them, because like getting confetti into the eggs, it just sounds like a lot of work, and I would probably break the eggs before I even started.
You have to have like a little hole at the end, but it can't be too little. And then you cover it up with a little bit of paper.
Okay, yeah.
Glued on so it stays contained.
It sounds like the sort of thing that requires steadier hands than I have.
Probably.
But if I could manage it, that would be really fun.
That would be fun. For sure. So we are now entering the United States of America.
Oh
boy.
On our cultural tour. Sarah's like, oh boy. So let's talk about the Easter egg hunt, and not the kind of Easter egg hunt that you just go and like look through all your closets and your living rooms and in house plants and stuff to find your eggs. I'm talking about full on public event, park wide Easter egg hunts.
Okay.
Okay. And I do not know if this is like a phenomenon in St. Louis, or if it's a Midwest thing, or it's just an all-American situation. But I feel like there is a rabid fandom of Easter egg hunts here in the area. And I don't know if other locations can vouch for that. I would love to open that up. Maybe we'll set up a poll or something in the Facebook group to find out.
That would be a good one to inquire about.
Yeah. Because I feel like the St. Louis metropolitan area, like people go on like Easter egg hunt tours and
my goodness.
hunt,
like Easter
Rachel,
egg hunt
do they
crawls
have them
or something.
out in your area? Have you?
I don't know. I
observed?
haven't spent Easter in Connecticut yet. I
you'll
do
have
know
to
they
check
have them in Michigan. We hosted them at our church.
Okay.
They had a big one at our vicarage congregation in Emmanuel Frankentrost. I remember that one especially well because our oldest was about 2 at the time, and she was a big kid for her age, and she had started walking insanely early, like 8 months or something like that. So by the time she got to the toddler Easter egg hunt in Frankentrost,
She
cleaned up.
She cleaned up. She was like had the gym half empty before the other kids even waddled off the starting line. That was a very fun memory for me.
That's hilarious.
I like that. I love
man.
Yeah, not all of my kids were. I mean, I've had my fair moment of kids, wailing in despair because everyone else is getting them before I can get to them. So that was, but it started out well.
My church actually is the Sunday school kids at our church fill the Easter eggs for the seminary Easter egg hunt. Every
very
year.
cool.
So that's like one of our Sunday schools, if you can call it a service project.
I would call it that.
So we do one of the Sunday school days, mornings. It is an entire process because it's like hundreds of eggs, and there's there's different stations where you fill with certain things, and then they all go into these tubs, and then we ship them over to the seminary. It's a whole thing. Yeah, It's fun. I got to do it last year during COVID. That was very interesting.
Very cool. Well, I do know that a lot of at least I can speak to the area. So there's a lot of area Lutheran churches that will do Easter egg hunts. Matt's Fieldwork Church does one just about every year. They kind of brand it as an outreach opportunity. And I think so long as your family ministry or whomever is facilitating the activity, so long as you're like purposeful about reaching back out to those folks and connecting with them, I could see how that's a possibility.
Yeah. We do ours in between services on Sunday morning.
Yeah. And I do know that it was a big deal when COVID hit the past couple of years. Churches were not able to do stuff like that. I do know in 2020, when Matt was a second year, they didn't know what they were going to do because that that is one of their like keystone events is the Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious. It sounds like Village does an Easter egg hunt.
Yep, for the
Sounds
little
like
kiddos in between services.
Messiah does cascarones. Do they
yeah.
also do a hunt
No.
situation? Or?
Well, there are some regular eggs mixed in with the cascarones, so it's sort of a mix. It's not a true hunt, though. It's more of a. We've got a very small lawn. There's not many places to hide.
Yeah.
Grand Avenue.
Yeah, no, that would not end well.
Yeah.
Not at all. The divider between the north and southbound lanes. Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Rachel? Do you have any? Does the base do anything for Easter eggs stuff?
Like I said, I do not. This is a whole new thing for me. It would not surprise me even if it wasn't a regular tradition, that some MWMR Morale, Welfare, and Recreation department didn't host Easter eggs. I know that you can actually. There's a fundraiser going right now that seems really interesting to me. I'm not going to do it, but where there's an organization that will offer to come and egg your lawn for you for like a $25 donation.
Nice.
So that you don't have to buy, fill, or hide the Easter eggs. They'll do that for you. But it's not that. It's like, it's just a couple dozen eggs. I was like, our kids would be done with that in 30 seconds. Not worth it. But so people are getting creative in terms of using egg hunting for fundraising and also for outreach, obviously. Of course, in America, we have to make it about candy and money somehow.
Yep. They have adult Easter egg hunts, and it's not usually even like reserved for springtime activity. Like there was an adult Easter egg hunt in October of last year, and they have like
1 out of 10.
This is -5 out of 10. It's got like the.
Please don't tell me there's hard liquor in the Easter eggs.
No, there's like little shooters of booze.
Oh
and
my goodness!
-5. You're exactly
-5
right.
out of 10.
I bet there were at least jelly beans.
That maybe jelly beans steeped in vodka.
Yeah.
Like who knows?
Hard jelly. I'm sure that's a thing.
I don't think there's anything else questionable in those eggs, but then also I don't know.
Oh.
I've never been to one, so
That's why. There are much better ways to use your time.
there's like bankrolls and shooters in them. Like, come on now. Whatever. We'll do whatever it takes to feel that nostalgic childhood innocence again with alcohol.
I still like jelly beans.
Yeah,
like
I do
a
too.
lot.
I
I really like jelly beans.
Okay.
Starburst ones are the best.
Starburst ones are the best. Real quick question before I wrap it up here with one more location. Thoughts on black jelly beans?
My
Love them.
brother loves them, and I buy them for him for like almost every.
Like the solitary black
yes,
bags.
The licorice
Yep.
ones? Hated them when
Yes.
I was a kid, but spit them out if I accidentally got one thinking it was grape and turned out not to be grape. Now I'm fine, but why would you buy the bag with the black jelly beans in it if you knew that Starburst jelly beans existed? That's sort of where I am now. Like they're fine.
Yeah, actually, I'm not really a jelly bean girl, actually.
But you do like the black ones.
I had the black, not in large quantities, but yeah, I find those are most interesting. I like the malted milk eggs.
Robin eggs.
Yes.
yeah.
Like I can still, my mouth is like permanently scratched up from those.
Destroyed.
My
So
hard
you
palate
like
is
the-
gone.
Like the thick confection layer around it.
I like all of them.
All
I
of
like
them.
the tiny ones and the big ones.
You don't discriminate.
and- yeah, I like them all.
I do
jelly
love
beans are my
malted milk eggs.
favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like the black jelly beans.
Anyone
I would
else
just give them
here-
all to my brother.
A huge fan of the Cadbury cream egg because I like
Cadbury
those.
mini egg. And the
Really a
Cadbury
lot.
mini egg is the best.
I'm not sure.
I love the idea of them. I absolutely love the idea of the Cadbury egg, but the reality of it, it's always, I'm like, it's just too sweet. I just
Sounds good on
can't.
paper.
It's
like
beautiful
Like
though.
one a year though.
and that
That's what I'm
bunny
thinking.
just laying those eggs. Ugh, I love it.
I always used to eat so many of just the regular old milk chocolate small little eggs.
Oh,
The Cadbury mini eggs are delicious.
Wait, what are Cadbury mini? I don't even.
Okay, so they're like they're not filled. They're like candy. They're like little candy coated eggs.
Oh no, these aren't candy coated. It's just like a hunk of milk chocolate in the shape of an egg. They're really
Yeah.
cheap, but that's what I used to eat all the
Compared
time.
to the robin eggs, I didn't even think those were worth the trouble of unwrapping. I would have gladly given them all to you.
I love those. Plain old chocolate. I was a sucker for chocolate.
Yeah.
But there's something about that sugar shell on those mini eggs. I like the caramel eggs though too.
Yep, also good.
Those are good. Those are good. I knew we were going to go down a candy tangent.
Yeah. We had to get it out of our systems.
I did.
It's really close to supper time out here in Connecticut right now. And honestly, when you opened this episode with egg rolls, my mouth started literally watering. And now we're going candy and same problem. So bring us home.
All right, bring it home. Okay. We're going, ladies and gentlemen, to Ukraine.
Yes. I love their tradition.
I was supposed to look up how to pronounce this word before we started recording, and I didn't. And that is my own most grievous fault.
Hey, hold on. We can find it.
Okay. Pysanky?
I bet it's not.
I bet it's not. I bet it's not that easy. I bet it's not that easy.
I guess it's pysanky.
Pysanky?
It is number 6 in the Google Suggest list.
How to pronounce?
Pronunciation. Pysanky. You weren't that far off.
You were actually really close.
I guess.
Pysanky.
Pysanky. Okay.
Pysanky.
Pysanky are Ukrainian Easter eggs that are the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yep.
So there is a city in Ukraine, Kolomia, where this method of making Easter eggs was sort of became a tradition. And so they use, and we've already kind of talked about this today, they use like a wax resistance method and also like a batik print method as well. Some of these are just the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, we can still appreciate the visuals of it. The tradition of the pysanky is rooted in folk religion,
of course,
and superstition. These eggs were thought to contain magic and ward off evil spirits and, stuff we don't, as Christians, don't believe in. It doesn't really encompass the spirit of true Easter. Let's be honest.
True.
As Christianity moved west across Europe, though, you begin to see the Christian influence in pysanky designs. You start seeing things like churches, crosses, doves, fish, the Jesus fish. And despite the pagan roots of this tradition, you can totally see how this method of decorating Easter eggs has influenced the way that we decorate Easter eggs, especially here in the United States. So I know I can't justify paganism or superstition or folk religions, but I love these eggs. They're so beautiful.
They are beautiful. My sister got a kit when we were growing up with the special tools that you need to place the wax. And so we made them. Mm-hmm. They are not hard boiled. You have to use raw eggs for them.
Word?
And
I just lied to everyone.
You had to use this special tool that had like this tiny little hole, and you'd melt wax, and then it would come out of like a little funnel so that you could place it in very, very fine lines and designs.
Did you, in fact, feel yourself becoming more pagan as you created these designs?
Did magic flow through your veins?
Not. I mean, my sister, maybe. I don't know.
Was there less evil spirits in your life?
So, would you say that maybe Christians could enjoy this tradition without spiritual danger?
Yeah, beautiful folk art without embracing all of the history of it. It can be beautiful in and of itself.
Cool. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
Back when I was in college, in my musical world cultures class, we had to study a culture, and I picked Ukraine. So we went to the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Chicago and did all this cool Ukrainian stuff. But in that Ukrainian Cultural Center were some of these eggs, and
they have
just gorgeous in artwork. Oh my goodness!
In this Ukrainian town of Kolomia, there's a pysanky museum, and the building is a pysanky egg.
No!
Yes. Yes. It's in the shape of a pysanky. It's beautiful.
That's cool.
I must see this.
Very cool. Well, anyway, I'm done. Actually, I don't have any additional ideas. That's
a good one to finish.
I'm pretty much done.
Hey, did you rate it? Yeah, what's the rating of this one?
I didn't want to rank it because I thought it would mean justifying paganism.
Oh,
you were okay with the Swedes.
But physics!
but this is art!
Then I took away the points.
I'm gonna quote the Pope, which Pope I can't remember. The one from the coffee episode. Remember him? The one who said, "This coffee is too good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We must baptize it."
Yeah.
So I'm going, and it sounds like the Ukrainian Orthodox Christians have already done that, so we don't even have to do the work. But these pysanky are too beautiful to let the pagans have them all to themselves. We shall, or we have baptized them. And
do we want to do 10 out of 10 then?
Yes, I think
10 out of
so.
10.
Yep.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
And I know we're all praying for our brothers and sisters in Ukraine.
Yes.
Yep.
We're
Very
having
much
a
so.
hard time of it. And
will
we'll
be having
continue
a
to,
very-
especially as and I know that their Holy Week and Easter celebrations are a little offset from ours.
Yes.
The Orthodox Church and all. But yes, we will continue to pray for them. And perhaps as we decorate our Easter eggs this year, we can think about that and be reminded of them and urge to prayer. Sorry, that got really not as lighthearted as the rest of the episode.
No, it's okay. It's
We're all thinking it.
keeping it real.
Yep.
Keeping it real, son.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, Bree, this has been super fun. I love going through these cultural traditions.
This is awesome.
It's so great. It's so great. Ladies, we would love to know what your Easter traditions are, whether or not they include any of these cultural traditions. We would love to know that. You can share that with us in our Facebook group, the Lutheran Ladies Lounge on Facebook, or you can share it on Instagram and tag us at Lutheran Ladies Lounge, and we'll share those into our stories as well. If you have pictures of egg decorating, we would love to see them because that's super fun. You can also join our new e-newsletter if you like to receive Lutheran Ladies Lounge things in your inbox, or if you're just not on social media and want to still stay connected, you can totally do that. You can find out how to sign up for that e-newsletter in the show notes for this episode, or you can send us an email at lutheranladies@kfuo.org, and all four of us get those emails, and we will be happy to read and reply to those. You can find all of our podcasts at kfuo.org/Lutheran Ladies Lounge, or on your favorite podcasting app, or on the KFUO radio app. Happy Holy Week coming up this coming week, and blessed Holy Week. You're listening to the Lutheran
The face that you made. You're like, blessed Holy Week.
my brain was started to say more things, and then my mouth didn't know what was happening.
Oh my gosh.
You're listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah, and I'm going to go laugh cry again.
I'm Erin.
I am terrible with directions.
And I'm Rachel.
KFUO Radio and the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast are underwritten in part by Ad Crucem. Visit them online at adcrucem.com. Views and opinions expressed on the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast may not represent the official position of the management or ownership of KFUO Radio, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. The Lutheran Ladies Lounge is produced by KFUO Radio and available at kfuo.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Join our community on Facebook in the Lutheran Ladies Lounge.
Why did you do that?
Bing bong. Who snorted? Who snorted?
Dance. Are we ready?
Bing bong. Man, I wish the seminarians were walking by right now.
Oh, I'm crying, guys.
Were you popping your neck muscles?
No, I was.
Oh.
Whew, no, I wait for it to get to 1 second so I know it's recording, and I was counting the time in my head.
So you're doing like a head metronome thing. Oh my gosh, are you all right?
Sorry, guys.
You were legit crying, right?
Okay.
Holy Moses.
It's been a long week.
It's Monday.
The statement still stands.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Wow. I have been laughing too much today. My body decided to be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't look at you this time.
Oh, now my nose is running.
Mm.
Let me take a drink. Okay. I'm crying again, guys.
Blessed Holy Week.
I'm going with Happy Holy Week. Just own it. Happy Holy Week.
I don't know. I think I was going to say Blessed Easter, but we have another episode before Easter.
The face is what made it for me, honestly.
Hungry, guys. It's 5 o'clock.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
How
No,
long
it's
was that
6 o'clock.
episode?
An hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, dang. I thought I love how I was like, this is going to be 35 minutes, guys. It's fine.
I need to go cook for my children.